Okay, good morning, everybody. I welcome everybody to this morning's Monday Motivation. I am Robert. I am the trainer here with the NatGen team, actually one of the Medicare training specialists with the NatGen team. If you've been joining me over the past few weeks, you have gotten to hear my lovely, wonderful voice as we've gone through the wonderful world of Medicare over the past 8 or 9 weeks. It has been an amazing lead up to this year's AEP, and as I look out the window here with the Medicare agents on the floor here within the office that we're at, it is humming, it is busy, and everybody is on it and rolling. Very exciting time right now with the Medicare industry and the industry as far as health insurance field sales in general. A lot of opportunities out there to make a lot of money and to make a lot of really rewarding connections with the enrollee base that we're working with this year. So I want to welcome everybody to today's webinar, our Monday Motivation, well, rather Motivation Monday webinar. And what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go over some steps to be successful during this year's AEP. And actually the steps that we're going to actually talk about really aren't even specifically dedicated for AEP. They're really just helpful steps that you can use to actually be a success, whether it's within the insurance industry, within your daily life, or just making small successes every day. And that's actually kind of why I chose this morning's quote of the day by our Collier here in regards to being that success being the sum of small efforts that are repeated day in and day out. And you might want to look at the insurance sales industry as something that's, you do it over and over and over again, and it may even become repetitive. But the good thing about this though is that repetitive nature and more that you do it day in and day out, those actual small efforts on each of those individual contacts and each of those individual conversations that you have, whether it be going through a needs analysis, whether it be getting to know your enrollee on a more personal level and making those connections, that is actually the definition of being successful. Through those small efforts, just repeating them day in and day out is what's going to really build you to be successful in just about anything you do. Again, these are going to be steps that'll help you even within your daily life and just to keep yourself organized, and especially with the AEP season here coming up. So I'm excited to go through some of the tips for today. So if you're new joining us, again, happy Monday. Today is Motivation Monday. If you are new to us, what we're going to really kind of do today here is we're going to really go over last week's tip of the week. We're going to then discuss a real quick tip for today. We're going to definitely look at some of the trends going through the AHCP calculator today, and as far as last week's numbers are concerned, and as well as the sales leaders as well. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to look at today's sales technique. And I wouldn't really necessarily define it as a technique for sales necessarily individually, but also really kind of a technique for life and just to be successful, whether it be in sales or whether it just be, in your daily life. So with that said, we will get moving for this morning. It's a very, very chilly morning here in Oregon. Very wonderful 42 degrees when I woke up and got in the car today and drove on over. So don't know where you're coming from today, if you're in the central United States, in the eastern, or even in the western here up with us in beautiful Oregon. Very nice and chilly, but just a wonderful day. The sun is rising over my back right shoulder today, and it's going to be just a beautiful, wonderful day. So last week's tip of the week, we actually discussed the fact that NatGen is actually going to have their brochures updated for their main generic brochure on the NatGen A&H site, located on their MedSup page. And the main thing that we wanted to point out last week, though, is that the finalized and approved brochure for the Texas NatGen MedSup is going to be finalized. Well, actually, it was finalized and approved, and it was actually already posted on the A&H site. So you can definitely log on in there and get those brochures for the state-specific needs that you need, as well as the updated one for Texas. Now, on to today's tip of the week. So for today's tip of the week, we have some really very interesting news coming this Wednesday, October 24th. GAC, General Agent Center's National Sales Director, Eric Lunt's going to actually be hosting a webinar with us, and he's going to actually be here for the AHCP group, again, this Wednesday on October 24th. I believe that the time is around 10 o'clock. However, I don't want to state that that's the exact time. The email announcement, if it hadn't already gone out, it will be arriving shortly with the webinar sign-up link, so go ahead and grab that. and we'll get that updated on the AHCP site as well too, as far as any information on that's concerned. But Eric's actually going to be reviewing their really competitive AME products. So their accident product that they have some really good low deductibles on it, really good, very, very competitive product. What's really nice about it is also comes with a VBA membership, and the VBA membership, as far as some of the discounts that are attached to the accident plans themselves, a lot of extra perks, things like an MD hotline, some pet benefits. They have an enhanced benefit card for discounts on things like dental and lab testing. And so, I mean, it's a really, really good product, all around encompassing product. Even additional things as far as a dividend club that they have, where you can actually earn dividends that are going to be paid out quarterly on certain merchandise purchases, for example, travel and entertainment. There's actually an online mall that they have where you're going to be able to make purchases, and you can go online and make purchases from things like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and then you'll actually earn dividends on those purchases that are actually paid out quarterly. They are having refund sweepstakes. They even have car rental discounts. They have discounts on dining and hotels. So, you know, we'll welcome Eric Lunt here this Wednesday for his overview on their AME products. And so, you know, hopefully everybody can sign up and actually join us for that. So it'll actually be a really, really good opportunity to get some information on a really good product that's out there to be able to offer to your enrollees. Going forward with today's trends, so we have actually seen increases across the entire board. This would be something that I would not think that wouldn't happen, you know, especially being that we're in the AEP season here right now. I imagine we're going to be seeing increases dramatically over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks to come here, especially as the AEP continues to roll out. So we had a huge changeover in the short-term medical side. Golden Rule actually jumped into first place, overtaking NHIC. For NHIC actually had held that for about 8 or 9 weeks. So excellent job pushing the Golden Rule there on that one. NHIC actually overtook VBA on the fixed benefit side. So some couple shakeups here on the short term and the fixed benefit side. Supplementally speaking, on the accident side, Golden Rule is still holding on strong, with Colorado Bankers still on the top on the critical illness area, as well as Golden Rule again overthrowing NHIC in the dental. So great job pushing all those products, and great job to everybody. Golden Rule's really just kind of taking the lead here and overtaking everybody. Now, as far as individual statistics are concerned, so we have a little bit of a shakeup here in regards to our first and second and third places. So for our short-term side this week, we have Richard in first. So Richard, great job this week with 138,000, outstanding work. Coming up second here and strong in second is Susan, and then we have Jacob in third place. Excellent job, you guys. You know, Katya and Susan and Dustin, you guys had been leading for, you know, a couple good 2 or 3 weeks here. So a really good shout out to you all too as well. But, you know, as far as the weeks are going, I am seeing some amazing numbers, and really even following really close behind me this week were Jason Packard and Elaine. So you two had some really good numbers that were just below Jacob's level there, but you guys are really a good shout out to everybody. So great work to everybody here. Now on our limited benefit side, so Kent, excellent job. You hold on to this now for just about 3 weeks in a row here at 21,000 this week. Kent, great work. Robert, you took a little bit of a slide down up to second place this week. You actually had gone from third place to second place, so not really a slide. Let's kind of rephrase that a little bit. You took a slide upwards, let's say, from third place into second place. Great job this week. And Katya, you and Robert just switched places this week, so great job to all three of you. You know, as well as even Philbert and Gerald in the last couple of weeks, you guys have been doing some amazing work. I'm seeing excellent numbers from everybody. So just keep up the great work, especially during the AEP season here right now. I am very, very proud of everybody. You guys are doing an amazing job. Now, last week, I'm not sure if anybody was able to join us, because I do know that last Monday, of course, was the launch of our AEP season. But last week, what we really did real quickly is we went over a few of the individual changes for the Part A, B, and C portions. We'll quickly, briefly run through that. On the Part A side, we actually went over the new adjustment for the Part A premium free coverage. Maximum amount is actually set at $437 this year for the 2019 premium year, with the $240 level at anybody that's at the 30 to 39 quarters of work as far as their premium is concerned. So 437 was the CMS figure that was put out last week, right before AEP rolled out. Basically that came out, what was it, Friday afternoon prior to that Monday's rollout. So wanted to actually share these numbers with everybody just to make sure that they have the most current information, of course. The Part A deductible was set at $1,364 for the 2019 plan year, which on the level breakdown for the benefit period times $1,364 being the deductible that's going to be paid when they initially go for their inpatient portion in the hospital. And then as far as days 61 through 90, they had $341 per day for the benefit periods, with $682 set as the lifetime reserve day portion. And on the skilled nursing facility side, of course, for the first 20 days, there's no cost on that, but they did set the day 21 through 100 level at $170.50. Now, on the Part B side of things, the standard Part B premium then was set at the $135.50, which of course could be a little bit higher depending upon the income. But the main thing, though, that we wanted to point out on that is that the $135.50 was the level that was initiated for the amount of $85,000 or less for beneficiaries who file on the individual side, as well as $170 for anybody that's filing on the joint tax side. So those are the most updated CMS numbers in regards to the monthly premium amounts on the Part B side. And then as well as any beneficiaries who are married, however, are filing separate tax returns from their spouses, the amounts there as far as the breakdown chart, anything 85 or less at the $135.50, all the way up to the three levels here, with the 415 being the $460.50 for the total premium amount in regards to the monthly adjustment rates. Now, likewise, as far as the annual deductible on the Part B side, that amount was set at $185 for the plan year. So again, that's a slight adjustment from the 2018 plan year. But again, just want to make sure that everybody has the most current numbers on that as we go through the figures from last week that we went over. On the Part C for the Medicare Advantage plans, the main thing that we wanted to really point out here was that the Medicare Advantage premiums on average, they've actually been steadily declining since around 2015. So that from the actual average premium of $32.91. So what actually has happened here for the 2019 plan years, it actually declined by about $1.81 to $28 from 2018. So that's actually pretty good decrease from the prior year. Now, if you do need any more information on this, or if you want to stay up to date as far as any of the AEP changes are concerned, or any CMS information, there is the link that I've posted here on the slide for today. That's actually going to go over the changes with the deductibles. But once you get onto the CMS site, that's going to actually give you all of the information that you need in regards to anything related to Medicare and CMS adjustments in general. Now, with that said, you might be asking yourself, now that you have all the wonderful information, you have the most updated deductibles and the updated copays and coplans, what can you do to really be successful this year? One of the things that we touched on last week was that the main part of Medicare that you really want to focus on as well, besides parts A through D and then the supplements as well, is part Y, and that's you. You want to make sure that you're getting your rest this AEP season. Of course, we had some points that we went over last week in regards to, of course, I want to try to avoid some junk food. I don't know about you, but with me, I'm sitting here and I have my wonderful caffeinated drink for the morning to get me energized and ready to roll as the week goes on. But you definitely want to have everything in moderation. Of course, you want to always feed your soul and make sure that you're detoxing and de-stressing. Now, besides the taking care of yourself, what we're going to really touch on today is about 4 or 5 little tips that you can really do to really be successful this AEP season, as well as being successful in any sort of sales that you do or any sort of life situation that you find yourself in. And what I've actually done is I was actually doing some searching over the past couple of weeks, and these are some actual tips that I've been finding as the weeks have gone on by some of the top CEOs within the insurance industry and the sales industry in general. And these are actually some of the top tips that they would actually share with their sales agents and that they would share with their corporations. One of the main tips that they've actually shared, and I completely agree with this wholeheartedly, is you really want to look at prioritizing your day, and that can even be prioritizing your week. In regards to, AEP, in regards to any sort of sales, something really kind of easy to do here is you want to really kind of take any of your new prospects, any sort of your new contacts that you're going to make, and really kind of prioritize that with your current existing schedule. You can actually even reach out prior to your appointments, as for individuals that are going to have those one-on-one Medicare meetings in regards to their sales. Reaching out prior to that appointment really kind of allows you to talk with them and really kind of set some final expectations in regards to that aspect. When a prospect or when an enrollee, hears from somebody before an initial appointment, they actually end up being a lot more prepared to make a decision at that point. And at that point, if they need to change a meeting time or a meeting place that works a little bit better for them, it gives you that opportunity to do that, as well as, again, it really gives you the main opportunity to set those final expectations with them, which in general, what I have found to be true out of this, it actually increases my closing ratio percentage. So one of the things to do is really kind of making sure that you touch all those bases in advance, allows to set those expectations so that they're actually more prepared when you go into the appointment or when you pick up the phone to make that call. So what you can actually do is you can actually set up by planning your day, and if possible, you can plan your week. And even if the days change, at least you have a plan to kind of come back to in the event that your day becomes like a disarray and everything just kind of falls to shambles for the day. This kind of really allows you to, to de-shambleize it. And it's one of my favorite words I like to use in regards to that. So, you can kind of just take your plan that's kind of fallen off and just really kind of refocus, and allows you to really kind of really dive right back into the point and making sure that you have your plan set for the day. Just always want to remember that you are not by yourself as well in this aspect. You always have a team behind you that's going to support you and give you the help that you need if you want to be successful with this. Another really successful tip that I found, and something else as well too that's very helpful when I'm speaking with individuals, is you really want to understand their limitations. So knowing and understanding your limitations and making sure that you really recognize that and identify those before going a little bit further can really make the difference in regards to making that connection and building the rapport with your individual enrollee. And that can be things like, are there any hearing barriers? How comfortable are they with using technology? Do they have trouble writing? Are they going to have problems, signing a signature? One of the things that I found to be the most important is that while I'm going through my needs analysis, at the same time, and this is really kind of building into the next tip that we're going to see here, is that while you're going through that rapport building, you're really kind of getting to understand your client as an individual. And by understanding them as an individual, that really kind of opens the door to really getting to know them as a person and making sure that you can identify those barriers, and that if there is going to be any sort of a roadblock or any barrier that you see, you can get over that very easily by identifying those limitations. And then at that point, you can come up with a game plan to determine how you want to really go around those limitations. With that said, then, what that means is that the relationship building between you and your individual client and an individual clients that you have as the day goes on, those relationship building efforts don't ever stop. So relationship building is really kind of multifaceted. And what that really means by that is that it isn't necessarily building a relationship while you're talking with the individual. Relationship building really also can really relate to research. And what I mean by that is research, your local areas, researching the networks that are in your area, researching the hospitals that are in your specific plan area. So what's nice, and one of the techniques that an agent that I was just speaking with last week advised me is that one of the relationship building techniques that they use that works really well for them is just researching hospitals in the local area and determining which ones are in the network for the plans, that are available in their area really prior to the appointment. And what it does is it shows their prospect that they took the initiative to learn about the surrounding community, and it gives them some really good talking points that that person can use to then connect with them. So by doing your research in advance, that is already building that relationship so that when it comes time to making that connection and building that rapport, it allows that connection to really kind of flow very freely. And then it really makes them feel special as an individual as well. By making that connection and making them feel that you are investing time in them as an individual, that really is one of the largest rapport building tools in your toolbox that you can actually use. And the main reason why is the demographic that we're working with, they really like that one-on-one service. The rapport that you build with that individual can go a long way. And, I've talked about this in the prior weeks, it can go a long way in regards to, of course, making sure that those residuals are coming in because they're going to sign with you every year when they go to renew, but also by making the confidence be built that they will give you referrals for other individuals that they feel, this is the best insurance agent that I've ever worked with. You really need to give him a call, or you really need to call her this afternoon because they know the area. They know exactly what they're talking about, and their knowledge is unsurpassed. And then it really kind of allows each other to find that common ground so that really throughout the conversation, whether it be on your first contact, your second, or your third contact, if that's needed and necessary, you have that common ground. People really want to know that they're special, and they really, especially again with this demographic, they really appreciate when someone puts in the effort into knowing something about them. The preparation beforehand really kind of shows that individual that you deeply care about recommending a plan that's really going to work for them. And by having that knowledge, it really opens them up to other relationship building questions that they have then as well at that point, and it allows the connection to really go a lot deeper. And really the bottom line is to find that common ground with them so that you can build that trust and build that rapport. Some of the specific things that prospects can actually experience during AEP, and regardless of what item that you're really selling, a lot of them really become overwhelmed during this time. There are a lot of choices out there. And you as an agent, you can really alleviate those concerns by tailoring those recommendations and really being prepared with appropriate recommendations because of that research that you've done in advance. And not only does that completely continue to build the relationship, but it really solidifies that trust that the individual person has in you as their insurance agent and their health agent of choice. So it really just makes them not feel like another number. And that's really just a really simple way to make them feel important. You really want to always call them or let them know that you're arriving early, maybe running late, or if you need further directions, if this is something that you're going to as a one-on-one. They just want to be assured that they're important and that they're cared for. There's an individual that I'm working with, an older gentleman, and one of the things that I found out when I've been working with him is that he has a little bit of a barrier in regards to his speech. He had a stroke when he was in his early 40s, and it's caused a lot of speech issues. And a lot of people, he has actually told me this directly, have really kind of given up on him because it's very difficult to have a conversation, especially a longer conversation when it comes to things like selling insurance and, going over those terms and conditions and reading and repeating and having them answer questions back and forth. A lot of people have given up on him in his past. And one of the things that actually allowed me to break through with him and allow this sale to go through was just that I sat down and I listened to him and I made him understand that, I'm here for him. And that really made him feel special as an individual and to really understand that I was there to work with him. So regardless of how long the conversation takes, that relationship building never, ever stops. And it's something that's going to continue as the years go on as well, too. And this can be one of the most important tools in your entire toolbox, just to remember that you should really always be building that relationship. It really never stops. In regards to tools, though, you always want to also make sure that you're utilizing all the tools and resources that you have in that toolbox. And whether that be the research that you're doing for online information from the carrier sites, researching the plan information, the carrier information, and that's actually also even utilizing your tools as an individual in regards to the way that you're marketing via digital media, your brochure content. Another agent that I was speaking with last week, he told me that one of the most important things he does regarding prioritizing each day by factoring everything is he actually makes sure that he looks and says, all right, so what are the specific tools that I'm going to be able to utilize for this individual interaction? Or what are the individual resources that I'm going to use for this one afterwards? By lining those up and making sure that he understood all the tools that were available for him during that specific appointment, it actually made him feel really super confident by going into the appointment, knowing that he's got, you know, not only just one thing, but 2, 3, 4 things that he can use as resources during that if things start to go to the side or if there's questions. You know, even if it's a question that he doesn't know off the top of his head, he knows where he can go, he can get the resources. And because he had prioritized and he prepared that in advance, he understood the tools and resources that were available for him. One of the last things that I always want to make sure to remember is that you always want to remember to bundle and cross sale. That's going to be something that's really going to add to that overall dollar base, making sure that you look at those supplementals, making sure that you're getting certified with the carriers that are going to be for your dental and your accident. Because by utilizing those and making sure that those are available for you to add on, not necessarily just to make yourself money, but it actually allows the individual enrollee that you're working with to feel special because you have the products available for them to be able to make a fully encompassing plan that's going to not only help them, let's say, just on the Medicare side and make sure that they get their Medicare coverage, but, you know, it's going to give them that supplemental coverage in regards to co-insurance, co-pays, you know, and then they're going to have an amazing dental plan added on, or if they even have to have an accident plan that's added on, that's going to be something that's really going to be a successful tip to remember, is to really set yourself up for success by allowing yourself to have a lot of different available options. And my last tip for success, and this is something that I always want to let everybody remember, you always have to remember to make sure that you laugh. Laughter is something that can really kind of clean the soul. It can kind of make you as a better, rounded individual all over the place. If you find yourself that you're laughing every day, it's really going to make your day enjoyable. So, you know, just by setting a Larson cartoon on here as one of our ending slides for the day, I do really truly in my heart believe that laughter is the best medicine. I know that if my wife or my son is having a particularly bad day, or if my son came home from school and, you know, he just had a really difficult day with, let's say, a math portion, if I can make a joke about something and if I can get everybody laughing and we end up rolling and laughing, it really just allows that stress and allows that anxiety melt away. And laughter can really just feed the soul and make you a really complete person for that day. So with that said, I do hope that everybody has an amazing AEP. Continue to rock it. Those numbers that are coming in are just looking amazing, as well as beyond AEP. I know that everybody's going to do well. If you do have any questions, or if you have anything that you want to follow up on with us here with AHCP in regards to training aspects or just individual questions, always remember you can email us at training@ahcpsales.com. Or if you have technical issues, or if you have anything that you want to reach out to agency services with, their 877 number is listed there as well. Remember, these emails go directly to our dedicated training box, which is checked and monitored throughout the entire day. And I'll tell you, if you have a question, I can guarantee about 15 other people probably have the same question as well. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and we will assist you as quickly as possible and have your back as you have ours as well too. So just remember, success is the sum of small efforts that's repeated day in and day out. I hope that everybody has an amazing rest of their Monday. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of their week and going into the rest of the weeks going forward here. I'm going to be with you this next Monday, and then I believe that Dan's actually going to be doing a Motivation Monday here in about a couple weeks. So Mr. Dan G is going to come in and speak with everybody for a while. So everybody have a great rest of your day. Cheers, everybody.